feeling good?
I'm good. Let's speak
Really
slow.
good? Do this.
And let's nyam 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 nyam.
I know that.
After more than 15 years of Marvel movies and TV shows, we finally come to the first season of Ironheart. Sure, her character debuted in Wakanda Forever as the catalyst for the world to fight over vibranium, but that was not really her origin. The story of how a generationally gifted engineer like Riri Williams came to be the spiritual successor to Iron Man needed its own space to be told correctly, so here we are. The Ironheart Disney Plus show joins Riri a few months after her adventure in Wakanda, and she's back to causing trouble at MIT. Her ambition soon outgrows her means, and after causing some unexpected mayhem, she is expelled from school. She takes her prototype iron suit with her, but without the school's AI to run the suit, she's quickly overwhelmed and the suit is destroyed. Alongside her story, we also meet Parker Robbins, aka The Hood, who's a small-time criminal with ambitions of greater power, and we meet his small group of misfit partners who help him pull gradually more elaborate heists. What Parker wants seems to be pretty simple, but how he gets it done, along with the power he uses to pull it off, that's a mystery. All in all, the show brings Riri Williams back home to Chicago, where she grew up, to face the reality of having the genius of Tony Stark without the nearly unlimited resources that he was gifted with to pursue his talents. But despite the promise of that premise, a lot of people don't know this character, and it's been popular to ask, why should we care?
Well, what we love about Marvel is their willingness to even attempt to go to where the people are. This is something nobody notices when they don't really care about the normal people that heroes claim to hold so high. People be like, get to the good stuff. To us, this is the good stuff. Also, please forgive us if this is a little bit of a review of the current state of the MCU as a whole. First of all, that seems to be how everyone else does it. And two, it's our first time sharing our thoughts and review of an actual MCU project by itself. So we gotta start off establishing a little bit of a base, right? So, back to Marvel. Even if they swing and they miss, sometimes or a lot of the time, I'd still give Marvel credit for trying. Because how many of the times watching action-adventure, fantasy, or superhero projects from other companies do you just see powerful people that are aloof and above everyone else? Are these stories about the problems the hero is trying to help with, or are they about vanity? It's hard to tell sometimes. So-called heroes out here barely speak to anyone normal other than to save them and say you're welcome. Meanwhile, Marvel's characters are grounded in the world we actually live in. They get injured, they die, and most importantly, they pass on the mantle to people who deserve to carry it on. It makes them infinitely more interesting. Riri is not a billionaire. She created her suit for the same reason Stark originally did, because a traumatic life event pushed her towards protecting the ones who need it. For being as smart as she is, she makes a ton of bad decisions and mistakes. But she's still new to all of this, and she's trying. That's real life. This is the stuff I love about Marvel Comics, and this is the part Marvel Studios doesn't get enough credit for translating to the screen as well as they do. And as a side note, I fully expect that all this will change with DC under James Gunn, but you know what I'm saying.
So, if your interest in Marvel peaked at the Avengers, that's cool. If that lineup of heroes was good for you and you don't have any interest in seeing the many other cultures and types of people and how they contribute to the overall Marvel story, that's cool. But for us, Avengers was not the high point of the MCU. At that point, what we really loved about Marvel had only been teased. It's all still to come. So that's why we are still excited when the new stories come out. Here in this show, Riri spends a lot of time talking to just people. Normal people who have nothing to do with the Avengers level threats and are just trying to get by. People doing the best they can. To us, that's inspiring. Those are the people that heroes fight for. They shouldn't be window dressing. This show, like other Marvel projects, spends time showing why these characters are as important to the heroes and to the Marvel story as they are. Also, we have long held the belief that Marvel's true strength, something they have continuously knocked fully out of the park for almost 20 years straight, is casting. They know how to look through endless possibilities of people with the look, people with the talent, and people who are completely unknown, and find the absolute best actor to bring a Marvel character to life. Here they demonstrate that power once again with show standouts like Dominic Thorne, showing both the strength and vulnerability as Riri, Lyric Ross literally embodying the spirit of friendship as Natalie, Anthony Ramos digging deep to play tortured soul Parker Robbins, and Sacha Baron Cohen as the show is filled with great performances, but you see what we mean the first time you see SBC open his mouth as
Enlighten.
I said be careful how you sprint to me.
Go on ahead and toss that casting up with the all-time greats of the MCU like Angela Bassett as Queen Ramonda or that one smelly dude.
Are you Tony Stank?
Yes, this is Tony Stank.
Speaking of Natalie, can we spend a minute to really appreciate the outstanding job they did with this character? She has awesome best friend energy, much like Darcy from the Thor movies, or Katie Chen from Shang-Chi. We also notice how the show takes the time and the space to explore the different shapes of grief. Natalie was loved by many, and each person goes through dealing with her death differently and reacts to her quote-unquote presence differently. But in the end, even if not everyone accepts certain decisions that were made to keep her around, looking at you, mixtape boy, family and friends are understanding and willing to support Riri. This is what we like to see. We don't always have to agree, but we can be there for each other.
Absolutely. And then there's the music. Only one other MCU project has actually went out of its way to use hip hop and soul as its main soundtrack, and that was Luke Cage, which was also fire. But you really have to be careful when you do that, because as powerful as choosing the right track can be for a scene, choosing the wrong one can pull the audience right out of it, even for diehard fans like us. So, when I see a show set in Chicago weaving classics I love, from Chicago artists like Lupe Fiasco and Gil Scott-Heron, you know I gotta give all the credit where it's due. This show was made with love and care, and you can tell in every episode. And let's speak for a second on the special effects. One could understand if they skipped a bit on the budget given the downturn that Disney Plus has had with all the grifters that try to destroy shows like this before they even come out, yada yada yada. But to their credit, Marvel definitely did not skimp. Ironheart is not one of Marvel's biggest name characters, but she was also never going to get there with goofy suits like the two she had in Wakanda Forever. But right out of the gate here, the 3 suit designs that she uses in this series both look fantastic and are used extensively. Did the show cut back in other areas to make up for the money they had to spend on these suits? Probably. I bet if you look hard enough you can see some cut corners and jank, but you can in any show out there, from Game of Thrones to The Last of Us. This is the kind of stuff critics love to focus on as a reason to dislike something, but I think for the most people, as long as the effects aren't distractingly out of place, then how the project comes together as a whole is what matters. The bottom line here is that the show looks good as the Iron Suits have looked in the movies. You can't ask for any more than that.
Ironheart is a great show. It's moving, it's funny, it's unique in its place in the MCU overall story. The show is not trying to be an HBO prestige drama. Marvel is trying to broadly match the tone of the movies while also leaving enough room for each series to have its own unique flavor. They largely succeeded at that. You won't get the same tone in Ironheart as you do from Daredevil Born Again or from Ms. Marvel. And no, it's not the greatest show in the history of television, and it doesn't need to be. All it needs to be is good, and if you ask us, it is. If we didn't spend a lot of time here talking about things we didn't like, It's because they weren't a big enough of a deal for us to dwell on them. We are huge MCU fans, so we were already excited with anything they were going to put out. But after the promise of finally revealing Mephisto, which means the Midnight Suns and Ghost Rider and Lilith and the supernatural side of the MCU will be coming soon, we cannot wait for what's to come, both in Marvel's story as a whole and with Riri and Parker themselves. It's a huge win for Feige, Coogler, and the team. We can't wait to see what they come up with next.
Tell us what you thought. Did you like it? What did you think?
Did you hate it? Did you dislike
I know they
some
didn't hate
stuff?
it. They ain't crazy.
No. Even if you disliked some stuff, you have the right to. But if you find
You have the
something
right
awesome,
to be wrong.
you have the right to be wrong. Just kidding. Opinions are opinions, but we want to know all the awesome stuff. Even if you hated the show, there's at least one thing that you liked about it. So tell us in the comments down below what it was. And what other characters and franchises are you looking forward to seeing next? Thanks for watching, and see you soon.
All right, well, you keep kicking ass out there. Again, well done so far. You've really done us proud.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Oh my goodness, I appreciate it.